G'day and welcome to the Cockeral Clock podcast, episode number 5, as we talk all things Tottenham football and whether Philip is Harry Hughes in disguise, we never know because nobody ever saw Harry Hughes, so Philip could be Harry Hughes in disguise. Is Mia
years old.
You never know. Is Mia feeding Romero enough in their dungeon? And is Colin finally becoming a Glazers fan? All will be revealed as this podcast starts going on. But good evening, everyone. Welcome to Thfc Till I Die, home of Tottenham, past, present, and a really exciting future. And the first of all, good evening, Philip. How are you? Thank you very much for doing the show earlier, along with Mia. How are you today, sir? And are you looking forward to the weekend? Ange Ball is back. Goodbye to Kenny Ball.
Yeah, I think we had enough of Kenny Ball for the last 2 games, and I dislike these international breaks intensely. It's great to get back to the real thing tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to this game tomorrow. It's going to be only our second game at home, and I think we're going to have something to smile about by 5 o'clock tomorrow evening.
Yeah, I think so. And Mia, how are you? Thank you also for popping in as an emergency co-host for the show earlier. Really do appreciate it. Of course, Mia from SPURS Between the Lines. If you don't know, give your head a wobble and get to know. Mia, look, you've had enough of Southgate Ball. You must be absolutely biting at the lip for Ange Ball tomorrow, mightn't you?
Yeah, you're damn right. I'm fed up with watching Gareth Southgate playing the rubbish players and then playing the good players out of position. Ridiculous, honestly. Can't be dealing with it.
But mind you were only playing Scotland. Anyone can beat Scotland.
I know, it's a bit like Ireland, isn't it? It's just like another one of the rubbish nations. You know what I'm saying?
You walked into that one, Dermot. You walked into that one with your eyes open.
Yeah, mind you, yeah, we do have Stephen Kenny, and I'll probably agree with you. We're not very good at the moment, but we are on the way back. And also joining us, of course, is the man really is the man behind the Glazer out movement. He wants them out more. He wants the Glazers out as much as probably half the UK people want the Tory government out. So how are you, Colin, this evening? And are you glad Premier League football's back?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm so glad that actual real football is back and none of this international nonsense. Because, oh my God, watching Southgate try and do some tactical genius is like trying to watch a 5-year-old coach Sunday League football. It's just ridiculous.
Look, just a very quick question for you and Mia. I'll start with you, Mia, on this about international. And how bad has it been, Mia? I mean, look, England have got to a semi-final for World Cup, a final for a final of European Championships, right? Is it really that bad? Because from us here, we've got our own problems with Stephen Kenny and Philip. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But is it really that bad, Mia? Do you really want to change your manager?
Do you know what? It's a bit like watching, say, like a Jose because the football's really rubbish. And yeah, people can say, well, we got to the finals and whatnot, but it's just the football is so horrific to watch that I don't even watch it. I don't even get excited about England. I actually got more excited watching the women's England games than I did the men's. Like, honestly, it's just ridiculous. And I think it's the fact he continues to play Dyer and Maguire. Just why? Just why? Do you know what I'm saying? It's just so frustrating. And then playing Maddison out on the left. He's not a winger. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you doing these things? It's just really frustrating, honestly.
And can I just very quickly, I want to say a massive thank you to Bobby from Full Time Sports Network, Colin, your partner, who had a pleasure of meeting this morning. We had a good crack this morning in our meeting. A brilliant intro. And I tell you what, there wasn't a Dyer to be seen. I tell you one thing, that was such. I don't think anyone copped. Eric Dyer was not in that intro at all, or nor was Hugo. So there you go. Just very quickly, Colin, on the England situation. If you want Southgate out, who do you want in as manager? I mean, Brian Clough is a long time gone, so you can't get him. Is there anyone? Is there anyone you would like to win? Alex Ferguson maybe take it over?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? No, really not. No, please don't have him in. He'll be even worse.
I think Graham Potter wouldn't be a bad shout.
Oh no, God, no.
So I think he'd be all right because he's not going to be playing. It's different to what he's been done before. Look at Brighton. I just think that he's all right. You know, I don't know. I don't think he's as bad as what people say.
That's at Brighton though. I don't think he could manage England. I mean, if you're going off the rumours that are going around at the minute, you know, Pep Guardiola's apparently in the running for it, but obviously we had a conversation earlier about who I would like at United if we didn't have Erik ten Hag, but I wouldn't actually mind seeing Eddie Howe as England manager as well.
I would, but he's not going to leave Newcastle. Unless
no,
he
he's not.
to Newcastle. But that's what we're saying. Like, a realistic option would probably be.
Oh, I still won't pick Graham Potter. I'd rather have Brendan Rodgers.
Really?
Yeah, Potter's not that good.
You think we've got problems with our manager, Philip?
Yeah, I know.
We've got a decent manager we can give them. Really, haven't we've got a world-class manager you can have.
Yeah, it's a great guy. Yeah. Listen, I think the problem with English football is with the standard of the Premiership and the way it's the leading league in the world, right, at the moment. 57 years since you won a trophy. Too long. Far too long. It must be. We think we're bad going 15, 16 years. But, you know, to not World Cup in 66 and that's it. It's a terrible long time to wait. And whoever comes into that job has a huge, huge responsibility to try and end that drought.
Is there many of that team left, Philip? I think there's only 2 left, isn't there?
There's only a couple. Bobby Charlton is alive. And who else? Bobby Charlton.
Bobby Charlton isn't well at the moment, is he?
Jeff Hurst is still alive.
But I know Bobby Charlton. Yeah, but I don't think Bobby Charlton's very well at the moment, is he?
No, he's not. Bobby Charlton, legend, absolute legend for the game.
Yeah, he is. The Charlton brothers, of course. Bobby Charlton, massive United. Jack Charlton, an Ireland hero, a legend, and also a legend for Leeds United. Philip as well in the day, as well.
He was
paying for under that. But let's see who's in the chat tonight. Shall we? We've got Dragon D Nuts. I love this name. Absolutely love that. It's just the first g'day to you, Dragon. We've got Wayne Bonner. Go on, Philip. Do your. As soon as I get him to read out a comment, he buggers off. You just cannot get the staff these days. You really cannot get the staff. I don't know. Good evening, my fellow Spurs addicts, and how we all diddling? Are we all diddling fine? How are you diddling there, Wayne? And he says doing, but I thought I'd just change it to diddling. We've got Wayne Bonner. Thank God it's proper football back tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing proper Tottenham again at the stadium. Yeah, we are. We all are. We've got a super chat from Jack Williams. Big up, Jack. Thank you so much indeed for the super chat. He says, "What are you up to, Mr. Brady, up in the corner?"
Never you mind. You'll find out later.
Oh God, I'm not looking forward to. You be careful. I'll bring up your latest video if you're not careful. Me and me
I'll
have
bring up
seen you.
I'll bring up your latest court case.
Yeah, okay. We saw his video before the show, didn't we, Mia? Very smooth he looked, didn't he?
Very smooth.
Very smooth. Yeah. Jack Williams, big up Jack. He says, Mia's brother, big up Jack. And Jack will be on the Premier League review with us on Sunday evening. So looking forward to having you on,
Will
Jack.
he? What time are you doing that?
We're having Jack and Mia on and Colin on at 7 o'clock.
Wow. Yeah, don't big Jack up. He's annoying.
Probably says a lot about his sister too, but there you go. I'm not
No,
getting
I have to put up with him. I have to bloody put up with it. Nah. It was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah,
so
it was.
Not Wednesday, sorry. You got to be nice.
Happy birthday, Jack, as well. And he'd send in a lovely super chat. Big up, Jack. He says, great to see all 4 great people to listen to. Well, thank you so much, Jack. Big up, sir. And we'll see you on Sunday. We have here the original member of this channel way back in the Egyptian days when Cleopatra was in charge and Kuva was Moses trying to get the 10 commandments, the first tablets ever. Big up Kuva 99. He says, I was more excited watching the women's game too. Different reasons though.
Naughty Kuva.
Yeah. Now we know what Kuva's favourite pastime is.
We'll pass the watershed.
Yeah, and Kuva, and it isn't Philip picking the first ever tablet from the top of the mountain. Big up Kuva.
Was it a Samsung or an Apple?
I don't know. I must ask him actually.
Like an apple, because it fall from the tree.
Can I just say he did break it on the way down as well, which was actually bad luck. So I don't know.
Nobody heard the joke or got the joke. God's sake, people.
We did get the joke, Mia. We did get it. Good job. This is a podcast. You could be doing your shopping, listening to us. This is brilliant. Southgate football is bloody boring. He has all the talent at his disposal, and he doesn't play their best. Free-flowing football is required. It's true. Of course, we're also on Facebook, Full-Time Sports Network as our partner channel. We're on Twitch as well, and we're on Twitter as well. We'll give you all the links later. I've got Cooper says upgrading Southgate will be tough. We'll have to make sure the letters isn't older than 3 weeks. And he says big up all in the chat and on the screen, by the way. Big up Cooper. We've got Wayne Bonner saying Potter is definitely a good manager, but not for England. It wouldn't be an upgrade on Southgate. Cooper has come back. He says we just need a manager that allows this talented squad to go out and play. Redknapp will still do a good job. Yeah. But look, very quickly on that, guys, and I love your opinion on this. Do you think Harry Redknapp is a little bit like Brian Clough? He will he's the people's choice for the job, but he will never get the job. I'll start with you, Philip, then I'll go around the panel.
I mean, Harry's been out of the game now for how long? 5-6 years? And he's well into his 70s now, which is look, Roy Hodgson's still doing it for Palace. But I think Harry would be, I'll tell you one thing, there would not be a dull moment if Harry was England manager. But I can't ever see him getting the job at this stage, to be honest. He might be the people's choice, but not the FA's choice, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Mia, would you have Harry Redknapp as England manager?
I mean, I would, because I love Harry, but I just don't think he could do it now. I think, like what Philip said, he's been out of the game for way too long. But I love Harry Redknapp, man. I put a video in the group chat the other day what he said to a player about giving him a bonus if he got 20 goals and he got 19. And he turned around and said to him, if I would have known that, I would have subbed you sooner. Because the boy was upset because he didn't get 20. And he turned around, well, if I would have remembered that, I would have subbed you off sooner. He didn't want to pay the money. Yeah. So I love Harry, man. Harry's wicked.
And you, Colin, look, Brian Clough was people's choice, never got the job. Harry Redknapp the same. Do you think it's their reputations that precedes these managers, and the FA just wants somebody that's a bit like, I suppose, a Gareth Southgate or somebody boring, if you know what I mean.
I think the issue with the FA and the England job is they want a yes man. That Harry's not a yes man. He's anything but a yes man. You know, I would have loved to have him as an England manager years ago. I don't think I don't think now it's feasible. You know, like everyone else has said, he's been out of the game a long time now, and football's changed so much. I think he'd struggle. So I think he should just stay where he is with his feet up, smoking on a pipe or whatever he's doing, drinking whiskey, you know, and just enjoy.
Yeah. For me, yeah, I agree with everyone else. And to be honest with you, I couldn't care less. Anyway, we'll move on. We've got Wayne Bonner here saying Cooper Redknapp would be superb as England gaffer. He should have had the job long ago. We've got Daniela Zito. Big up, Daniela. I haven't seen you for a while, but big up. Good evening. I'm quite torn. A 2-0 or 3-0 win tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs. I'm going for a 3-0 win. We'll get into that. I refuse to comment on my diddling as it's not one of those streams.
I mean, it could be one of those streams if you want, Wayne. Not a problem. We could easily switch it up.
This is a podcast where anything goes. So do you know? We'll see where it diddles. We diddle.
So let us know who you've been diddling, then, Wayne.
Yeah, we've got Wayne, but yeah, we know what you would like to do, Mira, but I'm not going to go there. Wayne Bonner and the user Dog Collar and Daniel Levy. Wayne Bonner, happy belated birthday, Jack. We've got Wayne Bonner on Twitch. I have a few Twitches every now and then. I bet you do, Wayne. Just be careful, Wayne. If you do Twitch too much, you may get stuck. We've got Jack Williams. I think Harry would be amazing for England. Why would he no be the FA's choice? Yeah, that's true. We've got Benny K74. Evening to all. My dad says England would have won the 1982 World Cup if Klopp was in charge instead of Greenwood. Now, I think this is before Mia was only a little girl at the time. Colm, I don't think. Were you born in 82, Colm?
No, I was born in 92.
I was actually born in 82, so I would have literally been newborn. Right.
Well, me and Philip can answer this question. England went out of that World Cup, Philip, undefeated. Do you think Brian Clough would have got England through? Would have won them that World Cup? Saying that, though, Philip, the Brazilians were the team that should have won that World Cup. Yeah, Italy came good in the later stages after drawing the first 3 games and then beating Brazil in the quarterfinals, effectively what it was. Rossi scoring a hat-trick. Do you think England could have been Italy in the final? Because who did Italy play? Was it West Germany that played in that final?
Let's see. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Now, listen, I think Brian Clough, there was more chance of me being the manager than Brian Clough, because Brian Clough just was not the type of the Hooray Henrys in the FA at that stage would not allow such a common muck like him coming in as manager. You know, Ron Greenwood was establishment, and that's how he got the job. Whether Clough would have won it, I'd say he might have, because I'll tell you one thing: there'd be nothing boring with the England team if Brian Clough was in charge of it. No. It really wouldn't. So, but he may have done. They mightn't have won it, but they might have got to the final, which they're good at that. They're not good at getting over the line.
I mean, that World Cup, Philip, if you look back on it, I mean, I was only a little kid at the time, but it was probably the first World Cup I vaguely remember. 86 was my main World Cup, my first proper World Cup. But that Brazilian side was Zico and Socrates and all them players.
They were very good. Yeah, they were.
And then you had the French side with Platini and all that, the side that went on to win the European Championships in 84. You had the German side that were in their second finals in 74. Then they reached the first of 3 finals, which they reached between 82 and 1990. For me, I think England would have got to the final, Philip.
Could have, yeah, quite easily, yeah.
Now, the question
it was a different system of groupings in those days.
It was.
It wasn't nearly as easy to get through as it was much easier to get through the quarterfinals, semi-finals now than it was then. But Brian Clough. But Brian Clough, he was managing Nottingham Forest at the time, wasn't he? In '82. They just after winning the European Cup.
Yeah.
79-80. Yeah. Could have done it. Probably would have. Ron Greenwood. Nothing wrong with Ron Greenwood, even though he was a West Ham manager. But he was kind of old school tie, that type of manager that the FA liked, the Hooray Henry type. And Clough would have certainly shook them up a bit. But the players would love to have played under Clough, I'm sure. Absolutely loved it.
Now, the question I'm asking now, and this is to all of you, we all remember Brian Clough in '92 retiring. He was a shadow of his former self when Forest got relegated. But I'll start with you on this, Mia. We've all seen the Damn United. We've all seen the books about Brian Clough and him and Peter Taylor together. Do you think Brian Clough was at Tottenham? Say if he came in after Bill Nick left and Brian Clough was coming in with him and Peter Taylor, do you think Tottenham could have gone on a completely different trajectory than they did? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That is well possible, isn't it? With the way that he was and that. It's hard, isn't it, to say for sure. But yeah, that is definitely something that you could say could have made us go into a different direction. 100%.
And you, Colin, if Brian Clough had come in with Peter Taylor, say after Doherty had left Manchester United at that time in the late 70s, do you think he would have taken United would have won the league a lot sooner? Do you think than it did take them to win it under Fergie?
Again, it's a hard one to say because you don't know how the players would react to that Brian Clough. I think yes, I think he would have made a massive difference, and United would have won the title. But that's just my personal opinion. It's a really hard question to answer because there's so many different factors into it. If it had happened, but I think he were an amazing manager, and I think he could have, if he did go to a United or a Tottenham, he would have won trophies.
I mean, Philip, he took Derby to the league. He took Derby to a league championships, didn't he?
Yeah.
Second
Himself
division.
Dave Mackay with a big help from Dave Mackay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then at Forest, he took Forest up without Peter Taylor. And when Peter Taylor joined him, he took Forest on this remarkable of success of winning the second division, the first division, and 2 European Cups. If I'm right to say, Philip, at that time, was Forest and the Clough Liverpool's thorn? Were they Liverpool's biggest rivals back then?
Yeah, Liverpool. Yeah, they probably would have been around that time. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing about Clough. The timing of Clough's moves would have suited Spurs absolutely perfectly. Do you remember Bill Nicholson left in 1974, right after the Feyenoord debacle? Brian Clough went from Brighton to Leeds in 1974. Now he only lasted 42 days, whatever it was, right?
44 days.
Wouldn't have been something if Spurs had nicked him before he went to Leeds. We wouldn't have had that clown Terry Neal coming in and ruining us. If Brian Clough had come to Spurs in 1974, okay, we mightn't have had Birkinshaw, but God knows what he could have done for the club. It's a really good thing. You'd love to be in an alternative universe and see what really would have happened if that had happened.
I tell you, I love Brian Clough. That even when he was in his last dishevelled, and you knew he had a problem with his drink, slapping the fan round the ear roll when their fans were on the pitch, and some of the stories. I sent you one story when he was signing Dean Saunders, Philip. I mean, the stories. That was hilariously funny. I would love. Go on.
I think you missed out on Brian Clough back then, but I think you have your equivalent to Brian Clough now.
That's a very good point, actually. I think we do.
It's a good point.
The only thing is, our Brian Clough hasn't got his Peter Taylor. But very quickly though, Philip, before we move on, and thank you to Benny K74. It's actually opened up a very good talking point on this podcast where if you want to ask a question about anything football, please put it in the chat or send it in as a super chat and we'll discuss it, because this is what this podcast is all about. It's not just about Tottenham, it's about all things football and different things. And we love talking about football. Do you think Peter Taylor, Philip, gets as much recognition? Then, does Brian Clough, should he get more recognition than Brian Clough? Because he was the man behind Brian Clough.
He didn't get as much recognition as he should have done. So remember, look, Peter Taylor and Brian Clough were the best double act since Morecambe and Wise around that time, right? Now, Brian Clough went to Leeds on his own. He didn't bring Peter Taylor with him, and look what happened. He had to go down to Peter Taylor to beg him to come with him to Nottingham Forest, because Peter Taylor stayed at Brighton. So Peter Taylor deserves a huge amount of credit, because he was a stabilizing influence behind he was kind of pulling Brian Clough back, pulling his strings, trying to keep him under control when maybe Brian was a bit out of control. So he really did not deserve he deserved a lot more recognition than what he got, and don't forget, when he went to Leeds on his own, it was player power that forced him out. The Leeds players just did not accept him because they all loved Don Revie, and he'd gone to manage England. And Billy Bremner and Johnny Giles were instrumental in getting rid of Brian Clough from Leeds. So don't ever forget that.
Can I just say, right, I never knew this. Peter Taylor actually managed Welling United. Now, Jack will know, that was actually my local team when I lived in London, like a really small local team that we lived near. We could go to, I went to the ground a couple of times, but how funny is that? I never knew he actually managed Welling United.
Yeah, that's true. But look, that we can. I'll tell you one thing we could talk about Brian Clough to do all days long. I may do a podcast on the greatest managers in the Football League, and I think we'll pick 3 or 4, and we'll try to decide who was the best out of them. And I know Keith Birkinshaw will be one and probably will win. We've got Daniel Zito. I've been around the channels. When is Bentancur expected back? As he's in the first team training, but is it important not to rush him back, as he could re-aggravate the injury? Now, as far as I know, guys, he's only in temporary training. Is that right, Philip? You knew more about this. You and me.
He was allowed back to do. He came back in with the first team today. Trained for 30 minutes, and had to be told by the training staff, "That's it, don't overdo it." And apparently, he was in tears afterwards. He just wanted to keep going. The guy wants to get back to us, and hopefully, it won't be too long. But they're going to measure his progress. They're not going to let him rush back.
No, that's good. We've got Benny Kate says Clough was also good tactically. Yeah, he was. Wayne Bonner, I was born in 1973. My first real World Cup was Italy in 90. So what happened to the 78, 82 and 86 World Cup, Wayne? That's all I'm going to say. Coover says the FA just wants someone who looks good in the suit and toes the line. We might get Tom Hiddleston. Oh yeah, although that would be very low-key arrival. Oh, very funny. I like that. Let me know, Coover. When's that?
Coover with the dad jokes. He keeps dropping in these dad jokes. I've noticed this.
Let me know, when's Loki out for the second season, Coover? Can you let me know? Me and Coover may not know. Me and Coover are massive Star Trek fans, and when they brought out the new Star Trek, me and Coover used to talk every week about the latest episode on the Star Trek, and I haven't really watched the rest of the second season in Strange New World, so I'm going to block watch it sometime over the weekend. But let me know, Coover, when's Loki one out, and let me know, what's the new Star Trek second season good?
I've seen the trailer for the new Loki. It looks really good.
Yeah, it does. Benny K74 said Clough would do well at any club. That's how good he was, excluding Leeds. Yeah, well, we all know. Yeah. We all know, that is so true. We've got Wayne Bonner. I remember Clough giving that pitch invader a kick up the ass and slapped him and then making him apologise on TV. That's so true. We've got Wayne Bonner. I said, why is the douchebag who screwed the FAA financially? What's the story with that?
Oh God,
yeah,
there's a
don't-
podcast
don't-
on its own about that.
that is a podcast in itself. Look, all they're going to say, there was an inquiry about that, wasn't there, Philip? And very quickly, I don't want to bore people with it because we need to get on with the podcast and start talking about the points. It's been very hushed up about it, hasn't it? It's just nothing's ever more said about it. That what was one of the things he did? Was it a James Bond theme 50th birthday?
Yeah, his 50th birthday party, he had a James Bond theme, and everybody had to turn up dressed in black tuxedos and little black numbers, and there was ice carvings of Aston Martins and all this sort of stuff at it. And the bill was sent to the FAI, and they bloody well paid it. I think it's more embarrassment than anything. There's not much talked about it, because that guy was an absolute shyster. He really was. He ruined us. He's the reason we've got such a manager now, because we can't afford anyone better. That's the problem.
Yeah. That's it. We've got Wayne Bonner says Billy Bremer, the man who targeted Dave Mackay, then bottled it when Mackay had enough. And that famous photo.
Yeah. That's the picture.
Famous photo. Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah.
And Wayne says, I'm
imagine doing that today. He'd be red card straight away now. He's done that today.
Cuba says, I hear Sylvester Stallone wants to buy a club, but his bid was a bit off to a rocky start. Oh, very funny. They're getting worse, Cuba.
The old ones are the good ones.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then Wayne says, I was in the films then, as I am now. So Italian 90 was my first proper. Well, okay, fair enough. Yeah. World Cup.
That was a good one.
And of course,
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was. And please, everyone, hit the like button, hit the subscription button on here. Also do on our partner channel as well, Full-Time Sports Network. You can also watch this on Facebook. We're live on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter as well on our new Twitter page. So please, everyone get over there. It's James Moyles 10 or 10 James Moyles is my Twitter handle. So please get over there and get us a like, and let's get back up to where we were before on our original Twitter page, which I've forgotten the login details, so I've had to start from scratch. So please do that. Welcome everyone, and now let's get into it, guys. The first topic we're going to talk about in this podcast is, guys, Everton to get new owners as Farhadid and Mansouri agrees takeover deal with American investment firm 777 Partners. So really, where I want to start this podcast is, guys, is the Premier League becoming a hotbed for American investors? Now, I'm going to start with Mia first, then go to Colin, Philip, and then you and me will go last. So, Mia, is the Premier League becoming a hotbed for an American investment?
Yeah, we have actually got quite a lot of American investment in the Prem. If you look at who, it's not because it's only a partial takeover, isn't it? They're not fully buying Everton out, but yeah, I definitely think that. I suppose there's big money and a lot of there's big businessmen, I guess, in America. So it's obviously, likely to happen, like the possibility of them being able to do it. So, it is one of those. But yeah, like I said, I think you'll be surprised how much American investment there is in the Premier League. I think people might think, initially you go to like the Glazers. But when you look into it, actually, there's quite a lot of teams that have the American investment.
I mean, you look at it, Colin. You look at Liverpool. I think they're one that they're American owned.
American, yeah.
You go to United now. You look at Liverpool. One side, that's how you probably run a football club. But probably Liverpool supporters will tell you different. But you look at the Glazers and you look at United, Colin, and that's not how you run a football club. So, how do you feel about all this American investment coming in? And especially with us as well with the NFL, which, Philip, I'm going to get onto you in a minute as well. So where are you on this American investment, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, I've got no issue with American investors coming in at all. I mean, I think we're going to see more and more of it coming to light now anyway, because obviously America have got the next international tournament anyway. They're hosting the World Cup, aren't they? So it's like what happened in the last World Cup. You know, they hosted, and we're starting to see more of the likes of those areas coming in to try and take clubs over. It's kind of a running thing. I've got no problem with American owners coming in. I just think if they are going to come in and invest, then clubs need to be protected, and the measures and all these checks and everything have to be done properly.
Joe, I just checked, and actually 40% of the Premier League is owned by some sort of American investment.
It's actually more than that, Mia. There's 10 clubs that have got American investment.
Yeah, no, but this is
11 now.
This is to do with the stakes that are in it, because obviously not all of them have got full stakes into the clubs.
Yeah.
So it's about 40%.
The actual clubs that have got investment, I'll just read them out there, just for everyone's information. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Everton as well from today onwards, Leeds United, Liverpool, Manchester United, West Ham, and you can add Burnley to that as well, because Burnley are American owned as well. So,
wow.
And Joe, what's funny, because when you look, British owners, British percentage is 25%, followed by China, Greece, and then Thailand, which is the lowest investment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, true. Philip, look, we on about the NFL now. We've signed up a big deal to the 29-30 season. So is that sort of American investment in Tottenham, or are we looking? Is the American is the American way, Philip? Are we more looking at the American market, if you know what I mean?
It's not an investment in Tottenham.
No, but I know it's not an investment. I know it's not an investment. The point I'm making, Philip, is the American market looking at the Premier League and thinking, we can make money here, even if it's true.
Obviously, if they've invested in half the clubs in the country, in the league, they're obviously seeing it as a cash cow for them, and they're doing it. The way we've done it is differently. We're renting out the ground for them to have their own NFL games, but there is no investment potential there.
Yeah.
Anyway. So whereas, I mean, it's I like Colin. I have no problem with American investors. I think that's where the money is, always has been, and let it keep going like that. I'd rather have an American owner than, apart from the Glazers, obviously, than maybe some of the countries that are buying up the clubs now.
Colin, you there?
Yeah. I mean, sorry.
That was you. Sorry.
No, I agree. I agree with what Philip's saying. Like I said, I've got no problem with American investors at all. Obviously, things have changed now since the Glazers have come in anyway, because of how they got the club. So things are a lot more strict, but I think they need to be even stricter just to stop these things from happening.
Yeah.
Because an investor is supposed to invest. It's the name, they're an investor. So it's just to protect the clubs a bit more. I think that's what's needed.
Yeah. We've got Wayne Bonner. English football has become Americanized for years, which has been an issue for me. It takes our identity away and makes football dull. You could look at it that way, but look, with the likes of Liverpool, and can I just, Philip, just likes of Liverpool being successful, as much as you don't like the Glazers column, United being successful, they do seem to put the money where their mouth is. So would you prefer American owners if Levy was to sell, Philip, or Saudi owners? Who would you prefer?
I prefer American owners, but I've never known an owner to make a club dull. I can't quite figure that one out. The manager can make a club dull. The coaches can make a club dull. But unless they, I don't know how an owner would. And to be honest with you, unless you saw, I wouldn't think a lot of people tonight would have known some of those clubs were American owned until we read out the list.
I didn't
know.
Really,
the owners, the owners aren't really that important, except in the case for Manchester United, where they're making an absolute pig's ear of it.
That's true. We've got Gerard O'Connor. Big up. I haven't seen you before, so welcome to the channel. Hit that like button and notification bell for more games, more shows coming up. We are covering the Rugby World Cup tomorrow night, me and Philip, for the watch along for the rugby World Cup. So Ireland against Tonga. He says, look what happened at Dundalk FC with the Yankees takeover a few seasons ago. That's true, Philip, as well. We've had small investment even in the League of Ireland from American
Yeah, well,
ownership.
that would be a small fry investment compared to some of the Premiership ones.
Yeah.
You know, like let's face it. Like no, look at the case of Sheffield United. They're owned by a Saudi Arabian person and have been for the last 10 years, but they haven't been big spenders. So you know, there's different levels of investment from the various countries. Sheffield United have probably got the bargain basement type, whereas maybe Dundalk got as well from the American time. They were owned by Americans, and Dundalk are not the force that they used to be. That's for sure.
No, and he also says, "What about Hull City taking over Shelburne as well, Philip? As well."
That's actually working okay. My son-in-law does a lot of work with Shelburne, and that's actually working very well, because what they're doing is they're getting players that don't make the team in Hull are coming over to Shelburne on loan and helping out the Shelburne team. So that's actually working quite well.
It is. Big up, Gerard. I hope you see more. Please get more in. We've got Wayne Bonnet. Saudi and Americans are taking over the game. We'll get onto that in a minute. We've got David Clark. Big up, David. He says from Leicester. Probably from a rainy and cold Leicester tonight, I say, David. It says the NF deal with Spurs is more than just an extension of the current contract. Spurs are now the home of NFL in Europe.
Yeah, that's a good
Mia,
thing.
it is a good thing. Yeah, Mia, is that a good thing for Tottenham? And then I go to you, Philip, and then Colin. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I don't see why there's an issue with it. Apparently, one of the clubs is going to end up being brought over here, so it's likely it looks like that's likely to happen. And I just think, the more money we get in, I think the diverse income is not a bad thing. And the NFL is massive, so we can make big money from it. And if we're not using the stadium, I really don't ever see an issue with it, because we're not using it at the time. I don't see a problem with utilising the stadium that we built to be able to make these kind of extra money, to be honest with you.
Philip, have you a problem with it, or do you think Tottenham are really going away from their roots and their DNA?
I have no problem with it whatsoever, because it's only an extension of it's not interfering with the football side of the club.
No.
Okay, in years gone by, it would have affected the pitch, because the pitch was ruined basically by American football, right? But now we've got our own separate pitch, so we can play American football for 6 days a week if you want, and it won't affect the pitch that we're playing the football on the following day. So, and I've just looked up something here, right? The average price of a ticket to watch an NFL game in this year. Now, we think our Premier League prices are high, right? Would you fancy paying $377 to watch an NFL game? That is the average price of a ticket to an NFL game.
Yeah,
so that is where the money is, lads. That is where the money is.
If you're going to watch the Dallas Cowboys, I think that's worth the admission in itself for the cheerleaders, to be fair.
Oh, well, no, that's been sexist now, you know. Kansas City Chiefs are $578 for an hour. No, I know. No, seriously though, the more money they can get in from the NFL. And Mia, did you say is one of the NFL teams going to be domiciled over here now? Is that the talk, or they're going to have a
that's what that's what they're talking about, because there's been rumours that one of them wants to, they're going to try and move. I think it's one of the ones that's probably going to be maybe not as a successful one, or one that's as big possibly, but that is the rumour that one will be coming over.
Well, can you imagine then every other weekend an NFL game at the stadium? The income that is going to bring in is phenomenal. Bring it on.
What's your thought on that, Colin? I mean, you on Full-Time Sports Network, we do cover NFL. What's your thought on it? Look, we all know Harry Kane wants to go to NFL when his football career is over as a quarterback.
Who? What are we mentioning him for? I don't know anyone called Harry Kane. I don't know.
No, his name was Henry Kane, his twin brother.
He's forgotten, isn't
Henry. Harry. I don't know who Harry, but Henry's a very nice fella, actually. It's his brother Mia, twin brother. He plays for Tottenham Youth Academy. So he's all right. He's coming through the ranks. How would you feel if the Glazers brought an NFL team to Old Trafford? How would you feel if Old Trafford was used as like we use ours?
I'd be concerned because Old Trafford's falling down. So no. See, I wouldn't mind it because I quite like NFL myself anyway, and it opens the door for people in the UK to come and watch the NFL as well. It's growing in popularity over here. I know it's quite big in America. I think it's is it the second most watched sport, just behind NASCAR or something like that? Which I don't understand what NASCAR is, but yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Anything that brings money into the club can't be a bad thing.
Now, Wayne Bonner, member for 8 months. Big up, Wayne. Thank you so much for your support. Philip, he's been a major supporter of our channel since day one. So thank you so much, Wayne. Do you want to say anything to Wayne just before we get to his point, just for 8 months being a member?
Wayne. Thanks for putting up with us for 8 months. Then again, so me and might say we put up with you for 8 months as well. So only joking.
Yeah,
treat our members. To be fair to Wayne, he's a really supportive, lovely guy, and he does a lot. And he's and Joe, what? He's a bit of a face of the community. Everyone knows about Wayne Bonner, and if you don't know about Wayne Bonner, then you need to know.
Look, we know Philip was joking. We know he was pulling your leg, but big up, Wayne. And look, 8 months. Wow, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me and Philip. It really, really does. He says, Philip, is that $370 for a single game?
Yeah. Now, okay, you can get them cheaper than that, but the average price, what they do is they take all the big games in the season and average out the price. You might get a ticket for $100. That'd be about the cheapest. But yes, that is for a single game for one of the bigger matches.
Wow, that's what that. Wayne says, for me, it's got to be about business structure. I don't want the Saudi owners who throw cash at the transfer market, or the likes of like a Chelsea. Yeah, that's true. We've got Daniel Phil, big up Dermot and Philip, big up Daniel. See you in. We've got Tequila, big up Tequila as well. 316. Also jumping in as well. Super Tottenham, big up Super Tottenham. Hope you're doing well, guys. Tequila says, just woke up, bro. Other than that, okay. How are you? He's talking to Wayne. We've got David says, I don't wish for American owners, guys. He says, because they become 80% of the Premiership ownership, they will hold sway with the owners having powerful voting rights. That could mean the change that we don't want. Right. I want to ask you all the question.
Good point.
I want to ask you a question. That's a yes or no question. Okay, to this. I'll start with you, Philip, and then me, and then you, Colin. Can you see Premier League football being played either in America or the Middle East in 5 years' time? Just yes or no, Philip?
I can see it being done the way the NFL does it in London. They bring over a team to play 1 or 2 matches in October or whenever. I can see that happening, having a full league program from America or a full league program from the Middle East. I can certainly see it in sooner than 5 years' time, but it will happen, Not the whole season, obviously, just one particular or 2 weekends, maybe.
What is this? A yes or no answer only, and we get like a big explanation, honestly.
We can give an explanation to Mia.
That's not what you said. You said a yes or no answer only.
Oh, yeah, but you have to justify the answer. You can't just say yes or no. You've got to give a reason behind it.
I'm joking, Philip. Don't worry. I'm winding you up. It's not unusual.
Mia's in one of these mischievous moves tonight, I can tell. Mia, same question to you. And look, what's your yes or no and the reason why? Yeah.
Yes, I think it will. Yeah, over to Colin.
Is that your answer? What's your reason behind it, though? Why do you think, though?
Money.
Yep. Straight to the point. Colin, can you see America being played in New York, or Man United playing Man City in Saudi Arabia or Bahrain or wherever in the Middle East in 5 years' time? Or do you agree with Philip? It could be done even sooner.
No, I don't agree at all. I don't think it'll ever happen.
You don't think it will ever happen? Why?
No, because the fans won't let it happen. Can you imagine Manchester United? Or in fact, no, I'm going to swing this your way. Imagine Tottenham Hotspur versus Arsenal, one of the biggest games of the season for both clubs because it's a massive derby, and you find out it's getting played in New York. Can you imagine the uproar by the amount of fans It won't happen. The fans won't let it happen.
But do you not
Colin,
think, Colin, for the small...
the matches to be played, they wouldn't pick a big derby like that. They have matches like Sunderland,
but
you know, like
there'd be no point doing it then.
Well, no, because don't forget there's...
There'd be no point doing it because all the fans in America want to watch these big games. They want to watch the Liverpools versus Uniteds, the Cities versus United, Arsenal's versus Tottenham's.
But hold on, when they go over for the pre-season, those games get a lot of people going to them because there's fans all around the world. Don't forget, Colin.
Yeah,
so
because it's cheap.
But they're desperate to see any football. See, like
pre-season is completely different, Mia. Pre-season is completely So go on.
See, like we've got some of our American fans. You don't think that they would be happy to see an Aston Villa versus Tottenham over in America? I think they would, you know.
I'm not saying that they wouldn't.
But a fan's a fan because we go to those lower games. So what makes you think American fans wouldn't do the same?
I'm not saying American fans wouldn't do the same. I'm saying English fans wouldn't let it happen.
Right. Let me put it this way. Let me put this way.
When did the FA ever care about the fans? When did the FA ever care about the fans? When you look at 2 weeks ago, there was a game played in the Championship at 12:30 at lunchtime between Sunderland and Southampton. Now, where was the thought for the fans in that one?
That's only if the FA become Americanized themselves.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you another question on this then. I'll start with you, Philip. I'll start with you, Mia, then I go to you, Philip, and then you, Colin. Look, we all know what the fans did with the Super League. We all know there were smashes, demonstrations, United come out in force, Liverpool did, Chelsea did, Arsenal did. Tottenham sent about 6 people out with bags from the club shop and dancing around the high street with their shoes over their heads. I still can't get that image out of my head. And of course, the Super League got stopped, Mia, and we all know the Super League could rear its ugly head anytime. Do you think, Mia, with all the influence that's coming in from America and the Middle East, that the Premier League was throwing enough money at it could be swayed to say, okay, match week 15 will be played in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, I think that for money, like I said originally, for money, because that's what they think about. And do I think that people go and watch it? Yeah, I do. I still think people will go and watch it because there's people out there who will do that. So if there's money to be had and to spread it obviously elsewhere, the Premier League are getting extra, obviously, light onto them in other countries, and going to other countries. So why wouldn't they do it? You know, it's money making for them. And yes, I do give people. Sorry, and I do have Scrappy Dappy. I do have Scrappy Dappy Doo vibes because I'm little. So yeah, it's about right. Thanks, guys.
Just to give an example, what happened here 2 weeks ago. Not the American football game between Notre Dame College and the Navy was played at the Aviva Stadium, right? In Dublin, and it was packed. It was 48,000 people at the game.
Yeah.
Now, not all of them came from America. I know a good few did.
No.
But an awful lot of Irish people went to watch it. So there is a market for something that you bring to somebody else's back door to watch. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. We'll never know. Yeah. Well, we won't know for a while. But I'd say it's more likely to happen than not if things carry on ownership-wise the way they're doing at the moment.
Yeah. Big up to Wayne Bonner for the €2 super chat. Thank you so much, Wayne. Very much appreciated. He says, "Go on, Mia. Show who's the boss."
He knows who's the boss. I'm
still going to stick by what I said.
Yeah, no. The
only reason why I'm saying it, is because yes, okay, teams have done this pre-season tour in America, but if you actually looked how much the tickets were in America for that pre-season, there weren't anything. And not only that, you could stay and watch all the games that played. You didn't pay for one game; you got free for that one price.
There's American fans that wouldn't go and pay. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is they'll have to pay Premiership ticket prices. They won't have,
but if people fly,
let's face it, they're like what, £400-500.
Hang on. Well, hang on. Just
But
one at
don't
a time.
forget, Colin, if people are willing to fly over to come and watch games, you really think they're not going to be willing to pay those prices for tickets? That's what I'm saying to you, because people do pay to come from America to watch our games. So
Yeah,
you're
but it's a
telling
very
me they
small number of people that fly from America to come
but
watch our
don't
games.
forget, a lot more people could do it then. If it was more accessible, they could go and watch it.
But they can watch it on TV for cheaper.
But what? But we all love to go to our stadiums and watch the games, though, do
I
we
know.
not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course we do. We all like to. But what I'm saying is, I just honestly, I don't believe it'll happen. I don't think it will happen at all. There's
So-
too many logistics.
Yeah, well, let's twist ahead a little bit about the Super League. We did mention it in that little bit of passage. Gerard Connor says, will the European Super League start in 2026? If it does, will that be the end for Fulham, Everton, Palace, and so on? Surely Don Levy will revisit this. Philip, look, we all know he was one of the people that put Tottenham forward into the Super League, one of the 6 Premier League teams. Now, we know he was behind that. He was also, I think, the second one to come out and say to pull Tottenham out of it. Now, where other owners, to be fair to them, did videos, he only put out a statement. If there is a European Super League, does Gerard have a point here that the likes of Fulham, Everton, Palace, and the smaller clubs will go to the wall? Or what do you think will happen? Do you think a European Super League will start in 2026?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll rear its head for a while. It may well in the future. I don't see it happening that soon. There would need to be radical changes, because the previous episode is still pretty sore in a lot of people's memory. And right as Jared said, rightly said, the teams that would not be featuring in this are not going to like it, and there's going to be a lot of opposition to a Super League. I don't want a Super League. Never did.
No.
Never will. I want things left the way they are.
Super League, guys, stop you, Colin. Super League. Look, we all don't want the Super League, but is the new Champions League format a version of that Super League?
You must be in my head, because I was thinking, whilst obviously you were asking me the question originally, I think what we're seeing with the new format of the Champions League is a very, very basic beginning of the Super League. None of us want it to happen, because it'll ruin football. It'll destroy it completely. But I think they're testing the water now with this new format, and they're going to see what the reaction from it, and then I think we might see it Super League return again, unfortunately.
Mia, look, we all don't want the Super League to come, and as I said, it's the Champions League, the new Super League. Where do you see it, say, in 10 years' time, Mia? Could the English landscape of football be changed unrecognisable to what it is now, say, in 10 years' time?
I'd like to think not, but I think the way it's going, I think it could be, because although we don't want it to happen, it's like it's inevitable because of the way they're sort of changing. They're changing it to be like, oh, look, new format, nothing to do with some sort of Super League people. Look over here. But while we're actually sneakily trying to do a Super League. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. Just the last question on this topic, guys. Jared says, how long more will the Premier League entertain Sky? Will the Premier League pull the plug and generate their own income with their own club TV channels? Philip, I'm going to start with you on this. And then, look, we know we've got like Spurs TV. Arsenal, all clubs have their own TV channels. Can you see a point where, I don't know if the Americans do this, but the days of free-to-air television, Philip, with all sports, but especially with football, can you see it going full circle back to free-to-air football again?
Not a hope in hell. Because if it does, Premiership will collapse like a house of cards. Because it's the Sky TV money that's helping to keep a lot of these clubs going. It really is. Sky money has been great for the game in a way, and it's been detrimental to the game in other ways, because what it's done is It's allowed the clubs to pay these obscene wages to players that half of them don't deserve. There'll never ever be a Premier League bringing their own TV channel. They would never be able to finance it. I mean, look at the money Sky are paying each year to have the rights to those games. It's mega. It's huge. I don't even know the figure. So it'll never go back to free to air. Not a hope in hell, unless something drastic happens. Something really, really drastic happens. There's some legislation passed by the European community, although I don't know, to bring it back to free to air. But no, it's not going to happen. And would you want it to? Because look what it was before Sky came in. You got one live match a week if you were lucky. And then before that, it was highlights of match of the day, and that was it, 20 minutes of your team. So at least now we can see full matches, and we can see nearly every match. I know each club has their own TV channel, but they don't show the matches live. If you look at that, they might show the reserve team or the under-21s. You'll never, ever see a first-team game live on Spurs TV, Spurs Play, or Man United TV or anything like that. You might see a rerun a week later. But who wants to see that? So no, it'll never go back to the way it was, in my opinion.
Mia, can you see? Do you agree with Philip on that? And do you think there should be a certain amount of games ring fenced for free to air people? Because not everyone can afford Sky, not everyone can afford Virgin Media or Now TV, Mia. So do you think there should be a certain amount of games ring fenced for BBC and ITV to be shown live on the Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, like we used to have Champions League on the normal television, so it would be good, but they're not going to do it because of money. Again, everything comes down to money, doesn't it? With the football.
Can I just say the BBC have got the rights for the Champions League next season? Now it's only highlights, but they have actually got the BBC have got the rights for the Champions League now next season, which is a big thing. Because it was always on ITV, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on ITV.
But I mean, it's highlights.
It's
you're watching them 2 hours after it finishes.
When I was younger, the only I used to obviously, like everyone knows, like David Beckham, and the reason I got to watch so much David Beckham is because they used to have the Champions League on ITV, because we didn't have Sky when we were kids, so we could only watch the football. We could watch highlights or like match of the day, and then Champions League. Tottenham were never in it when we were when I was quite young, so I used to watch David Beckham play, because that was the football I could get to watch, and I like David. So
here we go again. Another fancy man for me, a player again.
Candidate for the dungeon.
Another one for the dungeon.
I don't know if Victoria would allow it.
I don't know. Have Victoria in there as well. Might give Romero a bit of fun. Colin, can you, like I said to Mia, can you see should certain matches be ring fenced, like say the North London Derby or the Manchester Derby for free to air TV, that will give people that can't afford Sky or whatever a chance to watch it, and probably a bigger audience to watch it than you would if you just have it on Sky. And also, one question to add to that: has the Premier League been bad for British football rather than good for British football?
I think they should put at least a couple of games on a season for free. But when Sky are paying them nearly £1.2 billion a year for the privilege of airing, it's never going to happen. I think their actual figure is £1,193,000,000 that they pay, every single year to the Premier League. So when they get that kind of money, it's not going to happen. I'm afraid it's never going to happen.
No.
And what is Sky being detrimental to the Premier League? Yeah. Well, it's a bit like what Philip said.
Some of the commentators, yes.
Yeah, but it's like what Philip said, yes and no. Obviously, it's the money's gone in to help grow the Premier League to where it is today, but at the same time, it's allowed clubs to spend stupid money, on wages and stuff. I mean, you could only look at, obviously, I'm sorry, Mia, I know you don't like it when people do this, but I'm going to do it. When Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, he was 36 and he were on £550,000. You know what I mean? they can afford to do that because of this Sky. So yeah, it has damaged it in a way as well. But if it weren't for the investment Sky put in, the Premier League wouldn't be anywhere near where it is today.
I also want to say, let us know in the comment section, guys, what you want us to talk in future podcasts as we move on with these podcasts. Let us know where you want us to talk, because I've really enjoyed that conversation about the Sky money and the investment, and it opened up a whole different kind of opened up a conversation where I really didn't think it would go anywhere, but it really did. So let us know in the comment section. Now, international breaks, Philip, we know you hate them. I hate them. Mia hates them. Colin probably hates them. Everyone in the chat hates them. Everyone watching hates international breaks. Now, there is 4 international breaks this year. September, October, the dates are there. Then one in March, and then one in June and July. That's when the European Championships is. Now, the question is, Philip, with 4 international breaks before the Euros, should friendlies be stopped altogether? Now, I can understand, Philip, right? International breaks for qualifications. I'm grand with that. But it's the friendlies that get my goat.
Yeah.
Now,
Like, look at England last week.
Yeah.
Look at England. Case in point. Played Ukraine, then up for a meaningless game in Scotland. They should stick to whatever, just the qualifying games, leave it at that. But then again, it's the old thing, money, money, money. They want money for England going to play in Scotland was probably a huge honor for the Scottish FA. So that's what it's down to. But it should only be qualifying games. It's not fair on the players. It's not fair on the players playing a meaningless match when they risk getting injured before they go back to their clubs. So qualifying matches only. Stuff the friendlies. Play the friendlies in the summer pre-season or whatever, but don't play them during the season.
Yeah. Very quickly, though, guys, I want to get onto this subject very quick, and then we'll go back to the international. It's still international based. Now, I was watching TalkSport during the week. Simon Jordan and Jim White were on with Danny Murphy. I don't know if anyone saw this. And it was the day after the England-Scotland game, or Scotland-England game from Glasgow. Now, England had a national anthem, played God Save the King, and it was booed, and it was... Well, you couldn't... The video that was played, you could hardly hear their national anthem being played. Now, look, I'm Irish. Would I boo England's or any international, any team's national anthem? No, I wouldn't, out of respect for them. But guys, there has been a lot of people, a lot there booing them and saying that we had every right to boo their national anthem, whatever. Philip, I'll come to you last, and if this okay, I want to start with Mia first on this, and then Colin, then you. Then I'll have to say at the end. Mia, if you were at that game Saturday and Scotland had their national anthem played at Wembley, would you boo the Scottish national anthem?
No, I would not. I don't believe in booing it. I think you should be respectful. I just don't like the whole booing people's national anthems. Like, I don't agree with it at all. So because that's my personal thing, I wouldn't do it to someone else, because I would be a hypocrite. Yeah. So absolutely not.
What do you say to the people, Colin, that say, look, it's our right to boo. We pay our money for the tickets. We pay our rights, and it's our right to boo. You're not going to stop me. You're not going to stop 50,000 Scots booing the English anthem, or say 50,000 English fans booing the Irish anthem. So is it part of the rivalry? Is it part of the atmosphere? Do you know what I mean? I don't agree with it myself, but I'm just trying to ask the question. It was put. Danny Murphy said it was part. It makes the atmosphere of the game, especially like Scotland England, 150th match between them. It makes the atmosphere. It fires the players up. But is it right though? Do you think it's right, or do you agree with Danny Murphy? Yeah, I'm okay with it. It fires me up if I was a player. What do you say to that?
Well, I think the first thing I'd say to the fans, any fan that's booing any national anthem, is grow up. really. You know, that's the first thing I'd say is grow up. You know, thing. I don't do it myself. I don't do it personally anyway.
No.
But I don't think you should ever boo a national anthem. I really don't think you should do that at all, regardless whether it's Scotland versus England, Wales versus Ireland, whoever. It's just completely disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should do it.
No. Philip, look, if you took your daughters to a match, right, an Ireland match, like, or Mia, you took your kids or got, you know, cousin or whatever to a match, and they started booing Philip right next to you, say the English national anthem, if Ireland were playing England, what would you say to that person next to you? Would you say anything, or would you say nothing?
I'd say nothing, because chances are you probably get a Glasgow kiss or something if you did it.
Yeah.
But what I find quite ironic about the Scots fans booing the English national anthem, like, I know there's always been rivalry between Scotland and England. Go back to Robert the Bruce or whatever that was, right? But they're actually booing their own national anthem. No, I wasn't. Shush. It's back in 1200 and something. No, not quite. They're actually booing their own national anthem, because that is the national anthem of Great Britain, and they are part of Great Britain. So, you know, I don't agree booing any national anthem, regardless whether it's English national anthem, the Welsh one, the Northern Ireland, if they had one, or anything. No, it's not fair. National anthems are there to be respected and should be respected at all times.
Yeah. So, Mia, how do you police it then? Because you can police 50,000 fans.
You can't.
But
you can't.
No. So how do you stamp it out, though? Do you is a one-way stamping out not playing the anthems at all?
Well, then you're just letting them win, right? Because you're allowing people to ruin it for everybody else who might enjoy the national anthems. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't think you're ever going to be able to stop it. Unfortunately, it is just one of those things. But like I say, for me personally, I don't agree with booing in that way, and I wouldn't boo players. I wouldn't boo anthems. You know, you boo, like, I mean, I won't boo my own players. Yeah, of course, there's rivalry when you're playing the game, but I feel like at the beginning of a game, you should show respect while they're singing their national anthem. You know, it's just it's not a thing that I completely agree with. I agree with at all.
No, look, it was just I thought I said it to you during the week, didn't I, Philip? I might bring it up in the podcast. So it was just a question I had in my head about it. Look, for me, I think it's disgusting. I think you should respect other nations' national anthem. We've been to Ireland games, Philip, and you rarely hear any booing at the Ireland games for the opposition's national anthem, do you? Very, very rare.
Only games we've been at, no, they haven't. I remember being at the French match, and I think the French national anthem is absolutely. I love listening to some national anthem, especially the French one. It is absolutely brilliant. The words are superb. The crowd was enjoying it. The crowd was really enjoying the girls singing it. So there was no booing at all, you know.
No.
And likely the French fans totally respected the Irish anthem when it came up. So that's the way it should be.
It should be. Going quickly back to international, should the friendlies been back? Wayne Bonner says he thought the Nations League is pointless in my book, was put in place to replace meaningless friendlies. Very quick question, guys, then we'll move on to probably the last subject of the podcast. Is this just ways of making money, Philip, for UEFA?
What is?
The Nations League.
Yes.
Is it just another meaningless tournament?
It's adding fixtures to an already congested fixture schedule.
Yeah.
Taking in very little consideration of players' welfare. I mean, the summer break now is getting shorter and shorter for a lot of players. But some players this season barely got a month off. And you need that, you know. So of course it's a money-making thing. It's like Infantino wanting the World Cup every 2 years. What's that for?
Yeah.
Money. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, very true. Now, guys, just very quickly, if you want to know where the Sheffield United Spurs Sheffield United game is on, the game is on UK. It's not on UK and Ireland. There's no live coverage, of course, but there is. If you live in America, it's on Peacock Premium and it's on Fubo TV in Canada. So there you go. So you live in America or Canada, you can watch it on them respective channels. but not for us in Ireland or the UK, which I think is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Now, guys, very quickly, want to get on this subject, which is a very somber subject to get onto, but I think it's worth talking about. Then we'll get on to the last thing, which is I'll put it into everyone's head at the moment. Who is better, Messi or Maradona? Now we're going to come to this last in about probably 10 minutes time. Is that all right, Philip? 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes spare?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
You're all right. Is everyone all right for 10 more minutes?
Yeah.
I might have to drop out because I'm really tired. My eyes
Yeah.
really hurting me.
All right. Well, look, we'll just very quickly, Mira. If we'll come to it in a minute anyway. But now Richie came out today, guys, and come out during the week and said about his mental health, saying that he's going to talk to a psychiatrist, whatever, Philip. Look, fair play to him for coming out and saying it in the first place. And we all wish him a speedy recovery. We all wish him to get back to the Richarlison we know he is. I've been guilty of slagging him, Philip, rottenly. You know I have on the watch-alongs. And I probably feel a bit more guilty now for doing it because knowing now what we know. The question is, should Richie be given time off to get his head right? And should there be more mental health awareness in football? But maybe just not in football, Philip. Should there be more mental health awareness in sport as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not only soccer, it's football, there's in rugby and any sport. Absolutely. And I think it is becoming more, like it used to be a taboo subject. If you had a problem, you kept it to yourself or you didn't come out. What Richie did was very brave. I mean, he came out and he explained what's wrong. Now, it's not a footballing problem. It's a problem of things going on in his private life that obviously are affecting his footballing ability. Like the poor guy, he can't buy a goal at the minute. He scored a goal for Brazil the other night, and it was chalked off by VAR after 7 minutes of deliberating whether he was offside or not. I mean, that must be a killer to the guy, you know. But beside that, he seems to have got in with a crowd of hangers on. That's one of the best way of putting it. Yeah. Similar to what happened to Dele Alli. I think that's probably the best way of describing it. But Richie has done something about it now. And I think once he's got the elephant off his back, we will see a proper player coming back. And I know the club will give him every support in getting back to where we know he should be. And hopefully that comes pretty soon. But all I can say to you is, well, Richie, I know you're not watching, but we're all behind you. We are giving you 110%.
Yeah. I know you got to drop out, Mia, because you're not feeling too well. So, look, and I hope you feel better. I hope everything is okay. And look, if you need anything, you know where me and Philip are. And thank you so much again for coming on today, helping me out for Philip today, and also for everything you do with the channel. Me, you come on. You really are. You're part of the family here on THFC till I die. So you're always great to have on. You've got great opinions, great thoughts, and there's always as Derwa says, you lighten up the podcast or the show when you're on. You really do. You're very infectious with your sense of humor. So look, where can people find you, and when are you on next, Mia?
Over at Spurs Between the Lines. Sorry guys, just all of a sudden my eyes really were hurting me today anyway from hay fever, and I just all of a sudden feel really tired and I feel really like hurting, so that's why I'm dropping out. And I'm going to be going on Sunday 5 p.m. with my brother to do a review of the game. So yeah, I'll be doing that with Jack.
And then Mia, you're back on with us, I think, and your brother at 7 o'clock on the Premier League review. So we'll have more of you then. Listen, Mia, thank you all for what you've done today for us. Really appreciate it. And listen, I'll speak to you tomorrow. But yeah, very quickly, Mia, score for tomorrow.
3-0.
And Messi or Maradona?
Messi.
There you go. The Queen has spoken. The new Queen of Spurs, Mia, has spoken. We've anointed you the Queen of Tottenham now, Mia.
Oh God, don't be saying that. I think as well, by column. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so feisty in my arguments. Sorry.
No, I love it, Mia. I love it. We need more.
You need more of the fight. Trust me,
Yes.
normally I'm always up for the fight of the argument. All right, I'll speak to you guys later. Take care, guys.
See you later.
No, Dermot's gone now as well. Has he?
I'm back. I'm here. Yeah, look, for me, fair play to Richie, and I hope he has a speedy recovery as well. So big up to Richie. Look, I want to get on to this now. Messi or Maradona? Now, we are going to do next week. The podcast next week is Messi or Ronaldo. Now, we do know we have a big Ronaldo fan in our chat, of course, on the show. We've got Mr. Brady, who is a Messi fan.
Yeah.
As he's plugging in his electric chair,
support machine. I'm plugging in my life support machine
to keep you going. Yeah. And of course, I couldn't care less because I think Maradona's the best in the world. Now, Maradona or Messi? I'm going to go last because look, for me, it's Maradona, but I'm going to say my last. Who wants to go first, Colin or Philip? Who wants to go first on this?
Colin, you go first. There, go on.
Messi or Maradona first?
I mean, it's kind of unfair, really, because I'm going to have to go with Messi because I didn't really see much of Maradona, obviously, because of my age. I've only seen highlights and stuff of what a player he used to be, whereas I've seen Messi, a lot more over the years. So I'd have to go with Messi in regards to the two. That's not me taking away anything from Maradona. He was an absolutely fantastic player, and he's one of the world's greatest footballers.
Yeah.
People talk about generational talents. He was one of them, just like Messi is. But like I said, I've seen Messi a lot more than what I've seen Maradona, so I'm going to have to go with Messi.
Now, Philip, you and me have seen Maradona in his prime. We've seen Messi in his prime. Who are you going for? Just very quickly.
I'll go for Messi.
Really?
And again, I've seen a lot of Maradona. I haven't seen as much of, I've seen a lot more of Messi because his games have been far more readily available. And Maradona, great player, brilliant player. Ronaldo, great player. For me, gotta be Messi. Gotta be Messi.
I'm going to disagree with you both, and I will, because I can, because I'm Dermot, and I disagree a lot with everyone. And normally I'm wrong. This I'm not wrong. Maradona is far better than Messi. I'll tell you why. Right. Colin made this argument earlier about Ronaldo and Messi, that Ronaldo's won stuff at all the bigger clubs in Europe, which, to be fair to you, Colin, is actually a pretty good argument. For me, Maradona done it on pitches that are far worse than what they are now. He came over from Barcelona to Napoli, dragged a team that was going nowhere to win league championships, to win stuff in Europe, and he also dragged an Argentinian side that had no right to win that 86 World Cup and won it single-handedly. Messi, it took Messi 4 World Cups, I think, to win a World Cup, and he didn't single-handedly take Argentina to their last World Cup. So I pick Maradona. So look, Philip, look, we know how good Messi is, right? And we know he's got morals. He didn't go to Saudi Arabia. He went to America. And fair play to him for that. But for me, Maradona was a better player. What makes you, you've seen Maradona play as much as I have. Yeah. You've seen Messi play as much as I have.
Not as much as Messi. I'm going on the fact that I've seen a lot more of Messi.
Yeah, but
when I watched Maradona, I saw a player that's a brilliant player, absolutely brilliant. But what I see in Messi is an even better player, even more brilliant. With the amount of goals that he scored, I'm not talking about bringing a team up by his bootlaces and winning a cup. I'm just talking about Messi on his own, the way he plays on his own. I mean, his support play, the amount of goals he's created with his vision and his passing, Yeah. I mean, it's a close run thing. And it's the fact that the two of them are Argentinians is, quite a coincidence. But I would always go for Messi. I've always been a huge Messi fan. And
yeah, but
what I admire with Maradona, for what he did and he overcame all his addictions and whatever to do what he did. But I think even if you're even going to go on who was the better role model, you could not say Maradona was a better role model because of what he got into. I'm only saying if you use that as a vote, So Maradona was dubiously dirty, whereas Messi is squeaky clean. And even for that alone, I go for. But I still think skill-wise, Messi has it.
If you could make an argument, Colin, for Maradona, what would that argument mean? Look, for me, I think he was the greatest player we've ever seen since Pele. He's better than Pele in my view. I think he's the greatest South American player to come out of South America, I think, in my lifetime. I think he's better than Pele because he came over to Europe. He won stuff in Europe where Pele didn't. Pele played a lot of his football was look, a lot of people are going to say Maradona was a drug addict, like Wayne Bonner says. Maradona was a drug addict and a cheat. Have no time for that type of person. Look, you can label that, Adam. I accept that. But you could also label that George Best was an alcoholic, but he was a brilliant player as well. All players have their flaws. All geniuses have their flaws. Maradona, for me, how could you make an argument, Colin, for Maradona to be better than Messi? Do you agree with Philip, or is there no argument here? I'm wrong and you two are right.
I'm not saying you're wrong because it's all about personal opinion. I think the biggest issue here is they played two completely different styles, and I'm not saying because when you look at Diego Maradona, when I've seen his highlights, you see Messi, you can see very similar traits. Don't get me wrong, but what I mean is they played in completely different eras of football. From when Maradona stopped playing to when Messi started playing, football had changed so much already. So it's really hard to judge on who's actually better than who. Like I know obviously you're doing the podcast next week about the Messi Ronaldo. They both played at the same time, so it would be much easier to compare. Back in the day, Maradona, don't get me wrong, Maradona was probably the best footballer in the world, hands down, when he was playing. But you can't compare that to what Messi's done because, like I said, different pitches, different balls, different standards of football and quality of football. There's too many variables to actually compare the two.
Now, Philip, look, we've got a question here from Jazz Jones, and I think you will have a very good anti-answer to this, if you know what I mean, to this question, because I think you will. Could Messi go to join a mediocre team in Italy and win the league like Maradona went to Napoli? Now, possibly. Messi, when Messi only played at Barcelona, won everything at Barcelona, went to PSG, team that wins everything anyway.
Yeah.
So could he go to...
Did he go to Italy? He didn't go to Italy. So that's a hypothetical question. If he had gone to Italy, yes, he could have done. Who's to say he didn't? Who's to say he couldn't? We will never know the answer to that. But yes, he could easily have done it. Yeah, absolutely. Because Messi in the team would make every player around him twice the players they were before he landed there because of the inspiration he gives.
Did Messi need to win the World Cup, Philip, to go on the same level as Maradona? Did Messi need that World Cup win?
No, immaterial.
I think
that's a team game. That's a team game. We're talking individuals here. Maradona, we know, won the World Cup. Now he won the World Cup. You still don't admit he handled the ball, so you're a bit of a you're playing chicken and fox there on that one.
Look, I know he handled the ball, Philip. I'm only winding you up when he'd say he didn't.
Yeah.
All right,
you keep saying it though. That's what I'm just wondering.
No,
the World Cup thing is immaterial to me. Messi winning the World Cup was probably Messi's crowning achievement, right? But if he hadn't won the World Cup, he'd be no less a player in my eyes.
Wayne Bonner, we've got Daniel Fields saying, seeing Maradona in the warm-up at the Napoli, the video that goes around with him keeping the ball up to the music is unreal. But seeing Maradona in the warm up before a game is crazy. So composed skills. We've got Wayne Bonner. I'm a man of morals and principles. Messi out to 2 all day long. But Best was a piss head, but not a cheat. Yeah, that's true. Tequila says Serie A ain't that strong anymore. No, and it was strong back then, Philip, with the likes of AC Milan, Juventus, and all that. We've got Niall Kane. Big up, Niall. How you doing? How's your brother Harry? Hope he's doing well in Germany.
Scored again tonight.
You scored again
tonight. By the way, Bayern Munich were pegged back with a last-minute penalty by Leverkusen with 2-2 draw tonight. So.
And then Wayne in there. We've got Tony Fitzjohn. He says Messi has to go past a much higher level. Messi has to go past a much higher level player than Maradona had to. Yeah, that's very true. Danny Wayne, I like them. I like the both the same. That's all I can say. And Wayne Bonner, I'm with Philip on this one. Look, if you out of South American football, Philip, we've had some great players over the years. You know them: Pele, Maradona, Socrates for Brazil, Zico. All the greats have come from Argentina and Brazil, the two biggest football nations in that country. For me, Maradona gets ahead of Messi because of what he did. He came over to a league that was tough. Now, Colin said this to me earlier. Colin, I'm not saying anything you didn't say to me earlier when we were talking this morning. Would Messi stick it out in the Premier League? Or who would stick it out in the Premier League more, Maradona or Messi?
Who's that? Is that for Colin or me?
You go first. I know what Colin's answer is going to be.
Again, I would love to have seen Messi in the Premiership, but not even Manchester City could afford him. So I think I'd have to say Maradona, if you took them in the timescales that they played in, right, Maradona would have been past his best by the time the Premiership came in, whereas Messi would have fitted right in, So I think for the two, I think maybe for temperament-wise and everything-wise, and just summing up their characters and everything, I'd say Messi might have done it. Messi might have been the player to do it better.
Maradona again, did play for Tottenham, though.
Huh?
Maradona
did absolutely, and friendly, and Ozzy Adilas' testimonial. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did. Don't remember too much about it now, but
But it was before the World Cup, I think, in '86. Look, last question on this, and then we'll plug channels and we'll tell people when we're on next, Philip, and that. I've enjoyed the podcast tonight. It's actually been good fun tonight. The podcast has been good crack tonight. Philip, Philip, Colin, I'm about to call you Mia, Colin. Don't worry, sorry, Mia. Look, if you could pick Maradona, well, we all know about Messi, what he's done, and we all know seen Messi in his team for Barcelona and some of the great goals he scored. Do you think with Maradona dragging Argentina to the '86 World Cup by himself, was that a bigger achievement, what he did in '86, than what Messi's done in his whole career as an Argentinian player? And is that why do you think Argentinian fans have Maradona on a slightly higher pedestal than Messi?
Interesting, that one. I won't say that one achievement from Maradona eclipses Messi. I think it'd be wrong to say that. I think if there is a gap, it's a very, very slight one between the two. There's not much in it at all. But I just think Messi's done a lot more for Argentina as a country than what Maradona has, maybe. Like I said, I've not really seen a lot of Maradona. I only know, stories, and I've seen the little things of him. But, you saw it when Argentina won the World Cup. How many Messi shirts was out celebrating? There were Messi shirts everywhere. And I think that kind of solidifies him as probably the best Argentinian player that's ever existed.
Yeah. Philip, look, I let you have the last word. You're the man with wisdom and experience, and the man I could listen to Philip all night talking about football. I really could, because this man has so many stories, and knowledge I really go to him when it comes to knowledge, because this man does know what he's talking about. Look, the same question to you. We all know what Messi's done in his career. It's been a remarkable career, and for fair play to him for having morals to go to the United States instead of Saudi Arabia. But that's a completely different conversation for a completely different podcast, Philip. Do you think what Maradona did in '86, the same question I asked Colin, was more of an achievement than what Messi's done in his career? Do you think dragging the team single-handedly, I know cheating and everything, to a World Cup win than what Messi's done for Argentina?
Well, Messi, you could say Messi dragged them to a World Cup win as well. Even though it was only a penalty shootout that got them there. It's again, different eras makes it difficult to answer that question. See, Argentina in the late 70s and the early 80s was a very, very corrupt country, right? And no matter what anyone says about the 1978 World Cup, that was fixed for Argentina to win it.
Yeah,
it was a fix, right? Now, 1986 wasn't. 1986 wasn't. And Maradona practically won that. Okay, he had a good team alongside him. It wasn't just Maradona. We keep forgetting there was 10 other players plus subs on that team. And there was some very, very decent players on that team. So it's disingenuous to say that he was the only one that won the World Cup for them. He was instrumental in doing it. He was their main man, as Messi was last year in Qatar. Yeah. So to say was Maradona's achievement better than Messi's? You could say it was. I mean, I'm not denouncing Maradona completely. You could say it was, but I just feel that over the Messi has had a much longer career than Maradona had.
Yeah,
Maradona's career finished relatively early at the top level, whereas Messi's 37 and he's still going strong, right? Plus, Messi does things for charity and a lot of things off the game that people don't really know about. I don't think Maradona did. So, you could say that as an actual human being, Messi is a more rounded individual than Maradona was, who had his problems, and we all have our problems, but his problems are well documented. Messi hasn't had those problems. No. So, it's a chicken and egg situation. They're both brilliant players, and but both have done immense things for their country in different eras. And I think they should be remembered for that rather than saying who was the better. I don't think that's a fair question, really. They've both done brilliantly for,
look, for me, look, for me, you can't say you can say how great Messi has been in his whole career. And you can't not say that. He's been a genius in what he's done. He's been a genius in our lifetime. But for me, for what Maradona did in a shorter period of time, from going to an Italian league, which was tough back in the 80s, Graham Souness was playing in that league. A lot of English players were playing in that league. Taking Napoli, a team that was going nowhere, to win a league and European and UEFA Cups, and also dragging that Argentinian side all the way to that final, and also going what he went through in the '82 World Cup, getting sent off against Brazil, and all the bad press he got from that, reinventing himself in Napoli. Look, we all know he had his problems, and we all know geniuses of any sport have flaws. Nobody's perfect.
Could I just read out some statistics here? This may help the argument, right?
Yeah.
Now, this isn't saying who's better and who's worse, but here are the statistics between the two of them, right? Messi played 610 club games, right? Yeah. Maradona played 491.
Yeah.
Messi scored 507 club goals. Maradona scored 259. Messi has won 10 domestic league titles. Maradona has won 3. And international club titles, mostly Copa America now. Messi has won 7 and Maradona 1. So that's the comparison between them.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I understand what you're saying. But for me, I think for me, Maradona in the shortest space of time, Philip, if you read them stats out, Messi wins all day long. and it's not. There's no argument with that. But
Yeah.
if you look at what Maradona did, I always go back to the '86 World Cup. He did that. He had 182 World Cup. He didn't get picked for 78 because he was too young. 82, he got sent off, and he did get hounded out of that World Cup. 86 was the same. But once Argentina scored that first goal against South Korea, on which the game they won 3-1, it released Maradona from the memories of 82. He grew in stature, and he dragged an Argentinian side that had no right to be in that 86 final. England should have beaten them in that quarterfinal game, Philip.
But they
Bar
didn't.
the hand of God. But they didn't. Bar the hand of God.
No.
Okay. The second goal Philip Maradona scored, you cannot deny. That was the greatest ever World Cup goal you're ever likely to see. On a pitch, may I add, that was like carpet and falling apart. You couldn't, if he had pitches now, Maradona would scored 500 and something goals. He was playing on pitches, Philip, that were like mud baths. But look, we'll end it there. We are going to end it there. It's been a great podcast. Really enjoyed it. Just very quickly go through the chat. Tony Fitz, did Maradona only play for Lazio? No, he played for Napoli. Danny Field said, the good person to look up to for sure. Maradona was a maverick. Yeah, he was. That is for sure. We've got Super Tottenham TV. Says there's a video of Maradona in training in front of goal. He's doing overhead kicks, scissor kicks. Is unreal. It's on YouTube. Messi can't do that. Can't do what Maradona done. We've got Daniel. Where else we've got Wayne Bonner, Ozzy Ardila. That is on YouTube. That's the game we are going to show, Philip. We are going to show that game. And then Super Tottenham put Wayne Bonner. Would Messi be the player if it wasn't for Maradona? There's another question.
We never know that. We never know. It's
No.
a completely different generation, so we'll probably never know that.
But did Maradona inspire Messi? That's the question. Is there somebody
and
that
Kempes inspired Maradona? It's a generation thing. There's somebody ahead of Maradona who inspired him. Yeah. So would he have been the same only for whatever?
Yeah.
Ozzy Ardiles. He was a big fan of Ozzy Ardiles.
Yeah.
So and somebody may have inspired him, and I'm sure Kempes or Messi was inspired by Maradona, no doubt. Yeah.
Super Tottenham says different era. Messi didn't play on muddy pitches. He played in the best pitches they've ever been, and that's so true. Colin, look, we are a partner of your channel, Full Time Sports Network. We're streaming on there as well, so please everyone go and like and subscribe. Now, what have you got coming up? Because we've got the rugby coming on there tomorrow as well as here. We've got Formula One going on there as well as our other channel on Sunday. Me and Philip on THFC till F1 till we die. So please, everyone get over there, find it, and hit the link and the subscription on that. What you also got coming up on Full Time Sports Network for Colin?
So this week I'm not actually on tomorrow because I'm busy, but we do have a Around the Grounds going off tomorrow. And then I'm back on Sunday with Bobby, who helps run the channel. Unfortunately, I've got to sit through an Arsenal game. But yeah, so that's what's going to be coming up. And then we've got loads and loads of new stuff coming out next week. We're starting up a lot more shows coming up as well. So yeah, just the best way to do it is to go over, subscribe, and keep your notifications on.
Yeah, and also from here, we start a Premier League on both channels as well. Philip, very quickly, we've got the rugby tomorrow. Just a very quick question on our partnership. It's been a great thing for the channel, hasn't it? And it's opening up many new doors for us now, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
as we look to expand THFC, the brand itself is expanding.
Absolutely. No, it's a great move. It's a great move. Really, really looking forward to getting stuck in there.
Yeah, and what time we're on to? We've got Around the Grounds tomorrow.
Around just before 3:00, and maybe a watch along. It just depends on whether we can get to see the game, and then 8:00 or thereabouts tomorrow night, England versus Tonga in the Rugby World Cup. Ireland versus Tonga, even. Jeez, team versus Tonga, and that should be a bit of fun. Whereas I'll be trying to teach Dermot rugby, he'll be trying to teach me Formula One the following day. So
Sunday.
you know,
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. So join in for that if you want a bit. If you like rugby, but also like a bit of crack watching it. It's place to be tomorrow night. Is 8 o'clock.
We have got a bit of a promo to that coming out at 11 o'clock. So please, everyone, get over there and watch. There's a bit of build up to the rugby tomorrow. Our thoughts on the match before the game. Of course, there is a promo for the Formula One. So please, everyone, get over to Thfc F1 Till We Die. Hit the like button on there. Hit the subscription button on there. We are live on there. The link will be going up, and we're going to put the link into the chat tomorrow night so people can get over there. But whatever you do, this will be going up on Spotify tonight or tomorrow. Colin, thank you so much again. Mia, please, everyone, get over to Spurs Between the Lines. And Philip as well, thank you for everything you've done today. Really appreciate all your help and your thing. And Philip, we always end up with Fred. But I want to play a bit more of this. I want to play a video. Philip was invited to the FAI to their press conference. And of course, Philip there, of course, for THFC Till I Die as our Irish correspondent. So this is how what happened at the press conference. And tell us what you think of this, and then we'll say our goodbyes and we'll end up with the outro. This is Philip videoing the FAI press conference 2 days ago.
Anybody got any questions, Sal?
Sorry there.
Alright.
Why did you sack Vera Pauw?
Look, that's an interesting question, alright, and I'd like to take it from the start. Like, I've nothing personal against Vera Pauw, right? She's a great woman and a great person. But in fairness, look, she didn't stick to the terms of her contract. Look, there was no indication given when we met Vera Pauw before we took her on. There was no indication given that she was going to start winning games. Winning games here, there, winning against all odds, against top teams. She never gave us any indication that was going to happen. You know, she continued on to win games all the time. The FAI can't stand idly by and watch this happen. And then what did she go and do? She went and qualified for a World Cup. You know, a World Cup finals, and down in bleeding Australia, like, and we had to send all the players and the coaches and all the administration staff down to Australia for a few weeks, and we had to pay for those flights, we had to pay for that accommodation, and the players wanted to be paid when they were down there, for God's sake. They even wanted new socks, new shorts, new jerseys for every game, and even the boots, you know, and then they wanted playing gear when they were going out and around, you know, casual gear, you know, and this is all down to Vera Pauw. You know, we can't put up with that sort of thing. So that's the reason. Like, she raised the standards here in the FAI. We were happy with the standards we were doing. Like, we have no money left. Champagne football is going to be gone. You know, what are we going to live on? Where's the bonuses going to come out of? But that's why we had to get rid of Vera Pauw. We couldn't put up with it. I hope that answers your question. Any other questions?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just want to look at Stephen Kenny's contract.
Look, we've looked at Stephen's record there, and we're quite happy with what Stephen's doing, you know. He's not raising the standards high. He's winning the games he should be winning, and he's losing the ones he should be losing, you know. So there's no fear he's going to qualify us for any major tournaments anytime soon, you know. So we're quite happy to keep Stephen there, keep the costs down, and keep the standards down. That's what it's all about here in the FAI. Now, thank you all. I hope that answers all your questions. Thank you. Goodbye.
Now, Philip, you were at that press conference. Now,
yeah,
what was? I mean, I got your good question in about Stephen Kenny at the end there, Philip. I'd see you really went in there. But what's your thoughts about that press conference?
It was only problem we had to pay to get out. Yeah. It was very embarrassing, actually, you know. And they wouldn't take. Yeah. They only wanted cash. There was no cards accepted, you know.
See so, there, Colin. You know, see, we send Philip around the country doing. See, we get Philip out and about.
Yeah, I heard about that. It was free entry, wasn't it, Phil? I'm sure it said free entry, but you had to pay to get out. Yeah,
€50 to get out. You know, so
everyone's wondering why Colin is not camera. He's still stuck in that press conference. They won't let him out because he's only got cards. So
I refuse to pay.
So they've stuck him there. It's still at the FAI.
I'm in broom closet.
Yeah, if you see Stephen Kenny, right, can you lock him in the closet somewhere?
As soon as I get out of it, yeah. No worries.
Look, we've got great show, guys. Thanks for the show. Great stream. Enjoyed this greatly. Big up Wayne. Also, mass support and Super Tottenham. Look, guys, we are going to leave it there. Thank you all for watching. This will be going up on Spotify and the Cockeral Clock podcast. You got it wrong tonight, sir, not me. See, I got it right. See, I haven't got Carl Simpson in the chat to put me out. But yeah, please get over there. Hit the like button on there, and please hit the like button on our social medias. Facebook, you can find us. Twitch and Twitter as well. You can message us on there. Our email's there. If you want to come and sponsor the channel, email us, and we'll talk a bit of business deal. This podcast will be sponsored by a company next week. We're going to sort that out. So new announcements during the week about that. But whatever you do, enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. I'm now going to go and don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and do something. Philip is going to throw a house party because he's home alone. So he's going to throw a party, and Colin is going to try to get out of the FAI somehow.
There's an open window behind me. I think I might get out there.
Do you know what? I should have played the Mission Impossible theme where we got you trying to get out, Colin. On that bomb. Hang on, we've got to do Fred. We always do Fred. This is Colin trying to get out of the FAI broom cupboard. And on that bombshell, we'll see you tomorrow, 2:45. Take care, whatever you do. Thank you for joining for the podcast. Come on, you Spurs in Big Ange we trust.